I'm Josh Healy, and I'm going to propose to you a strategy for Android, which I think will enhance their sales, establish brand identity, and brand loyalty. And the 3 points I'm going to make are about simplification, simplifying the manufacturing process, and instead of making a bunch of phones, make a couple really elite ones. The second is going to be about advertising, much like Alex talked about, having meaning and intentions through the advertising, which establishes unification. And the third one is going to be partnerships, partnering with accessory companies, which will bring forth much more of an experience rather than just a singular device. This peanut butter and jelly sandwich is kind of going to be the theme of my discussion, and it looks really tasty and pristine. But I'm going to draw a distinction between iPhone and Android with it. This sandwich reminds me of iPhone. The reason being, the bread's sliced really well, the peanut butter and jelly are perfectly proportioned on the bread, and it just looks tasty and simple. If Android was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, the jelly would probably be seeping through the crust, the peanut butter would be globbed in the middle with not much peanut butter on the corners, and it would look cluttered. And that's what we're after. That's what we're trying to fix, is how to make Android more tasteful to the consumer. The More and the Merrier was a movie made in 1943, but it's also the strategy that Android currently uses. And their philosophy is, let's have an open source where manufacturers, carriers, and developers can use to bring forth their innovation and ideas, which Fraser Sherman emphasizes in his writing. So that's great. Good opportunity for people. It's open. Big opportunity for Motorola, HTC, Samsung, and LG, which I talked about in the Google presentation. And the Korea Herald affirms that LG and Samsung are two of the most elite Android manufacturers to date in terms of cell phones. So this has been good stuff so far for Android. So what's the problem? Clutter. It's really cluttered. With the iPhone and with Apple, people know what to expect. It's the best of the best. They only make good products and high-end products. With Android, they make so many things. Some, like 2 or 3 cell phones that come out a year are really good, but then they come out with other things that just clutter it up, and there's no unification. So here's my proposal. A battle royale. What I mean by that is make a competition with the companies. Instead of making 10s to 20s of phones per year, make 4. And partner with the 2 best companies that can prove to you that they can innovate. So my philosophy would be come out with 1 phone per quarter, and one of those phones would be a lower end phone for the folks who don't want to spend $300 on a smartphone. It'd probably be in the $150 range. But that's 4 phones a year, so that you can focus more time and energy on producing the best of the best. What we're going after is simplicity. The Financial Post writer Rick Spence says that simplicity means products that consumers not only understand, but bond with right out of the box. And I think that's a philosophy that points to experience, and that's what I'm going to continue to echo with this presentation, is giving them not just a product, but an experience. And so that brings us to Budweiser. We're going to talk a little bit about advertising now, which is my second point. Marketing deals with human emotion. I think something Android really needs to utilize is an ideological ad campaign that deals with emotion, love, romance, soldier coming home from battle, homesick college student, newlyweds, or an elderly couple that's still madly in love. Brand identity and brand loyalty, 2 extremely important things for business, but things that are nearly impossible if you use a lackluster ad campaign, which has been Android's ad campaign for the past 3 or 4 years. It's just been terrible in my perspective. And most importantly, no robots. The first ads that I saw for Android were robotic machine commercials where you couldn't understand what the point was. You'd see a phone with this robot just like playing with it, and then this logo would come on and say, Droid does. Well, that's great, but how can we relate? And especially you gals, I don't know how you can relate to that because that's a very machoistic commercial. So what we're after, again, is this ideological advertising which points to human emotion and life experience. So you might ask me, how is this realistic? How are they going to garner the money for this? Well, basing it off the first point with developing less phones, less phone manufacturing develops more profit and more budget to spend for advertising. According to Rita Chang, there's $100 million available for the Droid ad campaign. So with $100 million, if they could funnel that plus the surplus that's going to be left over from the limiting of the phone manufacturing, that's going to be a huge wad of money that they can use to focus on getting actual creatives, whether it's in-house or out-of-house, to make commercials that are going to unify the process and, again, emphasize that brand identity and get loyal customers. Budweiser, beer commercials, whether it's Christmas time, the Super Bowl, seasonal advertisements, they always hit the nail on the head. I love them, time in and time out. Because, as Brian Sedano says, their campaigns, they're not just about a product, they're about life experiences. Budweiser, in some of their commercials, they do a good job of talking about the history of the product, the taste of it, but also they make you relate. They make you reflect upon an experience you've probably had in your past where you're like, you know what, I can click with that. And that's what Android, I think, needs to capitalize on. Good advertising does not just circulate information. It penetrates the public mind with desires and belief. Again, I'm going to reiterate the experience. That you can't have an experience with only innovation. There needs to be advertising to promote that innovation. Batman and Robin, those are some costumes right there. But anyhow, that's one of the best partnerships in any hero movie, and that's what we're going to talk about next, is the partnerships that I want to propose. The iPhone. A lot of you folks who have iPhones probably have a case or two for them that you can buy. There's so much available to them, and I think that's appealing to us for a couple of reasons we'll talk about in a bit. But OtterBox and LifeProof, two big contributors and endorsers for the iPhone that come out with a lot of designs, a lot of rugged cases for wear and tear. But the point is, they partner with the iPhone because they can trust them and they know it's a fashionable device, because there's one of them every year, not 50 of them that come out, one iPhone, so they know they can trust people to buy and invest in that product. For us, the reason why it would be appealing to buy a case for an iPhone or an Android, in the case that I'm proposing, is that we are given the opportunity to customize and to personalize the device. And I'm not trying to pull out some weird idea that, oh, we just want to control everything, but it's kind of nice to buy something that you know you can personalize, and you know that's yours, that you can use your artistic gift or whatever you'd like in order to make your device look different. Adam Datchis, a writer for lifehacker.com, talks about the iPhone cases and how there's so many available, unlike any other phone company. There's actually a website called Uncommon, which I'd really recommend any of you guys or girls who have an iPhone, check it out. It's uncommon.com, and you can personalize a case. I saw it a couple days ago. It's awesome. You can put a picture on there or create your own design, and it's not all that expensive. And the point being is Android does not have that, period. And the fact that iPhone does speaks to its brand loyalty again. And James Harden, Kristen Stewart, and Kendall Jenner are three people who endorse it. And like Alex said, that's word of mouth. That's a form of advertising you don't have to pay for. That they're endorsing the product without you having to put a chunk of profit towards it. And that's something I think, should Android utilize that, they're going to hit the nail on the head. And it's going to tie it all together in terms of a unified experience. So again, with this peanut butter jelly sandwich, what we're after is an experience for the user, which I think through simplifying the process, simplifying the manufacturing, developing better advertisements, and partnering with good accessory companies, I think they will definitely be able to turn this around and say, okay, let's make it a tasteful experience for the customer. Thank you.